Hi everyone. I'm not from Greece. I see we're alternating English and Greek. That's good. I'm happy to be here for two reasons. One, Greece is one of the countries I manage in IBM Security. I don't come here often, but when I come, I like to talk to you, to customers, and understand how you see security. Security is multinational. There's no barriers, but there's always a local aspect to it. Second reason is, for the first time ever, my wife is in the room. I'm not going to ask her to stand up because she'll kill me if I do so. But there's a little bit more stress for me today, okay? So bear with me. Sorry, how does this work to... Here. Okay, so there's two parts to my presentation. The first part is I'll give you what IBM sees as the current state of affairs when it comes to IT security or information security, or as we call it today, cyber security. And the second part is going to be a few reality checks and how IBM believes we should answer these reality checks, okay? So the people we have on the other side, I hope none of you in the room are the people I'm going to mention here, right? The attacks are more targeted. 2 weeks ago, 4 major banks in Spain were attacked by a specific malware called Timba, and I think the colleagues that I had, colleagues from the industry speaking before, have mentioned a series of different attacks and malware, etc. So I think that's clear for you. The other part is that attackers are more organized. I don't know if you know, but Google references about 20% of what's on the internet. The rest is a dark web. It's where these guys are collaborating. Okay, it's an industry. It's a money-making industry. And then this is a bit like David and Goliath. These guys are using very sophisticated tools, business intelligence tools, right? So I say it's like David and Goliath, and this time Goliath actually wins. These guys have tools that sometimes are much better than what we have in-house. So everyone in this room is a target, right? That includes me. In social networks, they use my identity, and someone is using my identity to do nasty things to my friends. I'm trying to stop that. And nobody's immune, right? I'm not going to be the first one to tell you that with the tools from IBM or with expertise from IBM, you're 100% protected. That's not true. The name of the game is what happens when you do suffer a breach. How long does it take you to react and respond to that breach, stop that breach, right? That's where the focus is right now. By the way, this is coming from our XForce research. So we monitor about 4,000 customers worldwide via MSP contracts. And also Trusteer, I don't know if you heard that we acquired a company called Trusteer that's based out of Israel, so close by. And we monitor 100 million banking customer devices. So all that gives us a lot of threat information that we use in our tools. So a new way to think about security. A new way also means collaborating with my peers here, right? It's not just IBM. Your company is not infected? It's a myth, right? It is infected. I think it's clear for everybody that basing yourselves on known threats is not good enough anymore. You need to do it, yes, but these APTs, they're not known threats. In the charts before I had on XForce, what we've seen is that over 50% of the attacks that are happening today is coming via unknown malware. So, what do we see? Quickly, here we go. So there's 3 things that we believe are needed in the company today. One is we need to apply behavioral controls. Okay, check if there's an outbound traffic that's not expected, for example, right? Or a port that's being used that was never used before, a server that's sending information that's never been connected to before. Advanced analytics. There's loads of information within your company, but it needs to be used in the right way, at the right time, and we apply advanced analytics to that. And the third thing, as I was saying before, security is not just looking into your company, unfortunately. It's also finding out what's happening outside your company. So you do need global threat intelligence, okay? and it's become, as you can see on this chart, much more complicated. We see it as being four-dimensional, so network, endpoints, data, and application. There's actually a fifth dimension, which is people, but I won't get into that. I saw the charts before, and my peers talking about the weak link, right? We are the weak link. So, don't worry, I'm not going to be boring you with loads of IBM solutions, but there is, I think, one thing which is key on this chart, which I will repeat at the end, and that is, when we look at the companies that have suffered attacks, typically the solutions they had in place were working fine, right? Each one was doing what they were meant to be doing. And I can't say names. IBM, they've prohibited me from giving names of companies, but they came out in the press. So why did they suffer attacks? Well, typically because what they had in place was not integrated, okay? These different solutions, these different point solutions were not integrated. So it's key that you're integrating these three phases. Preventing, and preventing is not just detecting the malware, it's stopping it, okay? Detecting if it's gone through, detecting that malware, and there we're applying that analytics to the information we have in-house, not just taking logs from databases and applications and servers, but also taking information from the network. And then if something has really happened, what I was saying before, responding, right? Responding in near real time. When you are suffering an incident, you're looking at your intelligence or security intelligence platform. In IBM, we have something called QRadar, and I do want to mention that product because it's amazing. With a right click, we can look at what happened. We can actually look at the conversation that someone that did something wrong was having, right? Can you do this alone? No, we don't think you can do this alone, right? I'm sure, although I see quite a few people in the room, I'm sure that, like everybody, you're struggling because there aren't that many security skills. Good news for any university students that are in the room, but even though we're just not going to be enough, right? We need to collaborate. And that's not just within IBM, that's also collaborating with our peers. We're spending a lot of money on integrating solutions from other companies. That is key, right? We believe we're not going to be painting your house blue with IBM products. We believe there are good products out there. We need to integrate with those. So it's collective defense is what we call it. I mentioned this, XForce, right? We're gathering loads of information. And it's not just us. It's not just XForce gathering that information. Trusteer, we're also taking external data sources and providing that information to our technology and to you, our customers. And then beyond that, if you look at some of the attacks that happened, the weak link was a third party. It was the customer or the partner. Via those weak links, the bad people got in. So we've announced, this is actually charged from my general manager that presented in Vegas a month ago. We've announced the XForce Exchange, which is a platform by which you're going to be sharing information with a community of interest, with your customers or with your providers, and applicable intelligence, something that you can check, have I suffered this attack? Is there this kind of malware within my infrastructure? Are you investing wisely? Again, it's a myth, right? Firstly, I did hear the person from Bolton James, I think, was the company. We need to focus on what our critical assets are, right? We've gone from the paradigm of the medieval castle with the big walls, and we had the information inside. We weren't sure what was really critical, but since we had big walls, we were good. We've gone to the museum now. It's looking more like a museum because the people within our companies are promoting cloud and mobile and social networks. So we need to be applying intelligent controls, but mostly we need to be focusing on what is that critical information, those critical assets that we need to protect. And this is taken from a study outside of IBM. I can't remember the name of the analyst, but you know, it's usually typically the most 2% of the information you have is a critical one. So you need to know where it is and protect it. Another one, and by the way, we have network security tools as well, so I'm maybe throwing stones on my own roof, right? But typically, we're spending loads of money on network security. And what we're seeing, what XForce is seeing, especially now with mobile apps, the risk is at the application level, right? We need to focus on the applications, the web apps and the mobile apps. I was on Spanish TV a month ago because IBM decided to scan the dating apps, which are quite popular for younger people. My wife is here, so trust me, I don't use those apps. But we found that 80% of those apps actually had vulnerabilities. Right? I had to go on Spanish TV and explain that vulnerability doesn't mean it's been attacked. It means that it's ready for somebody with the wrong mind to do something wrong and, you know, get control of the mobile device, the camera, the information, the photographs. So application level. And risk-based. One of the things we see that CISOs, security people struggle with within the company is to really explain things to the higher management. And it ends up being, you know, risk-based. You need to explain what the risk is and align the budget to, you know, where the risk is. So risk-based defense. As I said, discover the crown jewels, the critical assets, right? Protect those. The users, some of you may be what we call privileged users. Make sure, we need to make sure that those users have the right controls on them. Make sure that, you know, cyber criminals may try to, via those people, have access to that critical information. These guys need to be monitored. Innovation is too risky, and this is my last message. Optimistic look on things. Myth, right? Why? Actually, cloud and mobile initiatives are actually going to help us become more secure. That's what we believe. Why? Because we're thinking about security from the start. So in the legacy systems, we're there late. We're applying security late. Cloud and mobile, I think we still have time to be infusing the security controls from day one. So, for example, on the mobile front, and I was talking about applications, it's easy for me to say, yes, you need to scan those mobile apps before you send them on the Google Play and the Apple Store. But it's easier for me to say, listen, you just need to, you know, go on the cloud, click a button, scan it, and within 5-10 minutes, you're going to get the vulnerabilities in that code that you need to correct before you send it out on the cloud. Okay? This is the only chart that has little right. So I came into the room an hour before. I had 2 or 3 hours ago. I had a number of charts with small letters. I'm sorry for the guys at the back of the room, but I think most of my charts were pictures except this one. This doesn't mean that IBM only has solutions in the cloud when it comes to security now, but we're definitely investing there. We're seeing the time to value of our solutions when they're on the cloud is much better, right? So this QRadar platform I was mentioning, it's available from the cloud today. Last chart. How much time do I have? I went pretty quickly, no? 19 seconds, wow. Do I get a prize for finishing on time? Intelligence, I mentioned it, key. Integration. I think if there's one thing that differentiates IBM is we're going to be focusing on integrating what you have with what we have. That's key, okay? And expertise, you can't do this alone. Thank you very much.